Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmick. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. I will be doing a collective message today. So, with that, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. We are going to get into it. All right. While I'm shuffling the cards, I just want to give a shout out to you and say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your help in co creating these messages. And thank you for the support on the channel. The likes, shares, comments, subscribes, and the donations all really do help out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. And if you are feeling called for a personal reading, I do have those available in the description box below. You can find a few different reading styles that I offer on my Etsy store, which is Divine Devon. And info and the link for that is below. Okay, so what's going on? So we've got Journey and the Temple Path. So what I'm picking up is that you have either what I'm picking up is that there has been a slight change in your energy and you have consciously committed to walking the temple path. I feel like you've been being guided and called to the temple path for a while. The temple path is like the path back to the self. It's the spiritual path, the self-healing path, the self-growth path. They all kind of lead to the same thing more or less. It's into that space of the more whole healed version of you, the authentic you. Really tapping into your divine self, your higher self, and really tapping into different abilities and things of that nature. So I feel like there's been a shift. I feel like you have some, yeah, yeah. Okay. Being called to look at this one really quick. So there's a message in the guidebook for us. Okay. Okay. So what part of this could be is really tapping in and finding your purpose, your soul purpose. And so this is something that gets talked about a lot, especially in the spiritual community, because a lot of us who are walking this path have this inner calling. We've got this inner fire, it's this part of us that doesn't let us settle. It doesn't let us just lock into the way that others tell us to do life. Things like this is in all areas of life. And there's that there's that feeling of I know I'm here for more, but I don't know what that is. And this path, walking this path back to the self, basically, this is where you will find that purpose. And just know that it is something that will shift a little bit the more you evolve, the more you grow, the higher levels of consciousness that you um kind of get to basically and embody, you will discover different parts of your purpose and maybe it will form in different ways. So I feel like this is really a time where you are going in and you are attempting to discover what this soul purpose of yours is. And the thing is the more you get into alignment with your true self, the more that it will become clear. Um, and then we've got door to value. And so I feel like what this is saying is that by you really committing to this path and to finding this purpose and walking this journey, this is where your door to value lies. And a lot of us will deal with interesting relationships with money. on this journey. And there's a lot of this ideology out there that says something along the lines of, if you have spiritual gifts, you should offer those for free and it's wrong to charge for them. Well, back in the day when it was, community living and you had the shaman who would tap into those other realms and bring forth the information for the tribe, there was other people who went out and gathered the food. There was other people who cooked the food. There was other people who built the shelters. There was other people who, protected the tribe and did all these things. Well, in our society now, it's different. We're not in tribal community living for the most part. So it's one of those things where that's an old program basically that we are dismantling. The reality is money is a frequency. Um it's a it's currency. It's a current. It's an energy current. And there comes some point on the journey where sometimes this is like past life vows of poverty that we've taken that you can break and release it from like your soul DNA, if you want to look at it that way. um a lot of it is just societal programming though, and then from this view of money's the root of all evil, well, that's not accurate. There's people who have a lot of money who do beautiful, wonderful things for people. It's the steward of the money that puts that spin on it, good or bad. It's just like a hammer. It's like saying hammers are the root of all evil because they've been used in nefarious ways a few times. Well, that's not really an accurate statement. It's a tool. It can be used to build a house, it can be used to repair something, or it can be used to cause harm, right? So it's a similar kind of concept. Um, and so I feel like maybe that's part of where you're at right now is you want to tap into this soul purpose and you really have that fire and you want to bring it forward, but there's that concern of finances. And what is coming through here is to let you know that the door to value, this door to being, because what money really assists us with is things like security, stability, pulling out of survival mode into a thrival mode, um, stuff of that nature. And if you really kind of sit and think about it, you in your most abundant state have the ability to help so many more people and animals and whatever it is that you're called to do. If you're not worried about, how you're going to feed yourself or your family, how you're going to put a roof over your head, those kinds of things, if that's taken care of, then you have more time and energy to put into things like discovering more of your soul purpose, finding unique ways to get it out there. And so it's one of these, like, it's hand in hand. And it really, once you really commit to this path, this becomes a part of it because we are all abundant, the core. The universe isn't lacking. The universe is very abundant. And so it's one of these things, it's a different perspective that keeps a lot of people who are on the spiritual path bound in those chains because of these outdated belief systems or these kind of warped belief systems on, money due to programming. Okay. So went on a whole rant about money. And then we've got man holding a heart. So this is very much a masculine energy who is tapping into that heart space and finding out what resides there. So take it as it resonates. If you are the masculine, then what I feel like is happening is you are tapping by committing to this temple path, by committing to the path back to self. You are finding things like passions, dormant emotions. I just heard that. And part of this is going to be in a romantic sense. And If you're on the other side of that, if you're the feminine, then there is, I do feel like, part of you committing to this temple path is opening you up to a frequency where you can pull in this man holding a heart, so to speak, this masculine holding a heart. Um, Not gonna lie, that threw me a little bit. So what's going on with this, spirit? So we're walking the temple path. We're going on a journey. We've got the door to value, and we've got a man holding a heart. We've got the magician in the mirror. Okay. 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 What in the banana sandwich is happening? All right. We've got the magician in the mirror. Now, this is I'm going to acknowledge it and honor it because it's coming through and I'm hearing it very loud and clearly. So, yeah, okay. This could be a twin flame situation. I'm just going to say it. Um which if you do resonate with this journey and you are the masculine, it makes sense because once you start walking the path, if you've met your twin flame already and you weren't aware of it at the time, which most of us are not when we meet our twin, it's an activating experience that is intended to spark awakenings. And then depending on, the human journey and everything else, sometimes we get to a point where both the twins become aware of it, do their work, do their healing, walk the path, commit to the path, and then they can come back into union. And sometimes this isn't always a romantic union. I do want to say that. Sometimes this is coming back together and working together on your soul mission, and working together, being business partners, something of that nature. This can also be just having a really solid friendship and having somebody that knows you at that soul level that can continuously help, you continuously help each other on the path, that kind of thing. And then, of course, there are those that romantic union is possible. It is one of those connections that it's more challenging to sustain until both twins basically are, get to this point where they're fully committed to the path. And if you're fully committed to the path back to self, that is where a stable union romantically in the physical realm is way more possible and likely and sustainable. Um So, immediately, that's what I thought about, and it does make sense because if you're going through the awakening and you met your twin that is incarnated in another body on Earth, that is going to be something that you discover when you take that path back to self. Um, so I feel like that's gonna be extra confirmation. But there is another thread that I'm picking up that isn't just for those that identify with the twin flame journey. So, I'm gonna pick up on that thread, which is knowing and using your true power. So this card is telling you that you are the magician, and within your grasp are the amazing forces of earth and spirit. The water is the energy of yin, the power of spirit and clarity of thought. The flame is the energy of yang, bringing direction and creativity. Together, they give you the magnificent magic of transformation. The mirror stands beside the magician, reflecting the outer world's response to your choice to use or dismiss the true power you have. The silver reflection reveals the future in a mist on the horizon, ready to be magically transformed. So you're being put on notice that an important and powerful time is at hand. You are the alchemist of your life, and just as an alchemist turns base metals into gold, you are now able to transform your difficulties into great blessings. And that's really like a huge part of this spiritual journey is the alchemical process of it. It's taking pain and turning it into I was going to say power, but that doesn't sound fully right. It's soul aligned power. It's not ego power where it's at the cost of others. It's true inner power and strength and confidence and things of that nature. Um So that is definitely a part of this process, and I feel like you're really in the midst of some of that alchemical transformation taking place at the energetic level, which is, I mean, ultimately, like, it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. This is where truly life-changing transformations happen, and they last because they're coming from a different place. It's coming from within. It's coming from that place of wanting to stay into alignment, or like wanting to continuously stay in alignment with your true self as much as possible. And then we've got the hostilities card that kind of came out a little bit sideways. And so the way that I'm taking it's kind of like flipped off to the side. So what I feel like you are experiencing right now is actually the beginnings. Maybe not the beginning, but really, really anchoring into this place where these external forces aren't pulling you off your path anymore. Um, and it's more background noise is what I'm kind of picking up on this. So there are people, and this is one of those things like, there's going to be this energy because we're on Earth at this time. Like, there's hostile energies on the planet. Newsflash, right? Um, but it's one of those not allowing it to pull you off your path all the time and to, have I just heard a hairpin trigger. Um, that kind of thing where it's constantly reacting to every little thing around you and giving your power away to all these external forces. I feel like there's been a big shift in how you handle some of these dynamics because that's the funny thing too, is it's not that these dynamics stop once you anchor into this path. It's that you're now able to deal with them in a different way. And then the more you walk this path, the more you commit to this, and the more you choose alignment and choose to, heal those parts of you that is bringing in all of this hostile energy, the less and less you will deal with it, the more your energy will repel these types of energies. But I mean, they're still there. Especially like depending on what you do for a living and things like that. A lot of us are going to deal with these types of energies just because that's the nature of being on earth at this time. But I feel like there's been a really big shift on how you're dealing with these hostilities, which hats off to you. Huzzah, huzzah. That is good shit because that's one of the difficult things on the journey. It really, really is. And so I feel like you've really done a good bit of work when it comes to that. So that's really awesome. Okay, then we've got the second chakra, which is Archangel Ariel. And the second chakra is the sacral or sacral, however you want to say it. It sits between the belly button and the base of the spine. The color is orange. It governs creativity, sensuality. Um, it's also in charge of the reproductive system. So, I mean, yeah. And okay, take it if it resonates. For some of you, what I'm picking up on this sacral energy is that you are coming into the awareness, and this is going to be more if you're on that the twin flame or like that super high level counterpart that you've kind of discovered is there in your heart space. Um, what I feel like is happening with this is there was probably a part of you that initially thought you were just very physically attracted to this person and it was lust and it was more physical, had to do with looks and things of that nature. And now you're realizing that it's deeper than that. That there's a whole lot more going on than just a, sexual attraction, basically. The other thing though, I do feel like you are really tapping into your creativity, or tapping back into it in some way. Maybe you're tapping back into those passions and those creative expressions that I feel like you put down for a while. And so I feel like some of that is probably coming back up for you. And then we've got the first chakra, which is Archangel Michael on here. And that is the root chakra or the base chakra that sits at the base of the spine. And that governs our relationship with our physical world. So that is the seat of security and stability. And it's blocked by fear, but it has to do with survival in the physical world. And so I find that interesting because we've got the door to value over here, which is, part of the root chakra stuff. That's our physical expression and being rooted and grounded in the physical reality. So I feel like for some of you, what could be happening is you are getting to the point where you're accessing some of this divine information and actually bringing it down and through your vessel, your human vessel, into the physical world. And if you're not there yet where you're actually seeing physical evidence of these internal changes taking place, just know that it is inevitable. It's one of those, like, when I said that, I heard it is law. Like, this is when we're tapping into some of those universal laws. This is one of them. This is one of those as within, so without type of things. So the more you internally transform, your physical reality has no choice but to eventually reflect it back to you. One. Jiminy Christmas. All right. So we've got woman holding a heart now. And so this is feminine. That what I'm picking up from this is that there is reciprocated feelings with you and another person. I feel like this is a person that you are consciously aware of. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm not picking up. Sometimes I'll pick up multiple threads where it's like somebody you haven't met yet that's coming in and so on and so forth. But I feel like for this specific thread of energy that I'm tapping into right now, you are probably aware of this other person and they are aware of you. If you haven't actually met in the physical, then this is going to be a very high level soul connection. And you've probably been seeing them in your dreams and getting kind of like, I feel like this other person's in your energy where you can kind of feel their energy in your energy. Um, so, regardless if you've met them in the physical or not, but I feel like for most of you, you have met this person. And I feel like this is coming through to let you know that it is reciprocated. I feel like this is just kind of confirmation that I just heard this is the path. So take that as it resonates. Okay. Um, okay. And then we've got all tied up, which is normally, it's like mm, it can be limiting beliefs. It can be outdated mental programs, subconscious programs, things of that nature. Um, it can be literally like karmic attachments of some sort. So this is like entanglements with um other people that aren't really, it's more of those one-sided connections. They're very draining. They're not mutually beneficial. You have to, it's recommended to be, boundaried up when you're engaging with these, connections and stuff like that. Um, I don't know. Okay. So it's also talking about a lack of motion or sense of personal freedom. So this can represent an area in your life where things seem to be severely stuck. A major drama may be going on around you, stopping you from moving forward, or it may be some technicalities blocking your way. Perhaps you're waiting for a contract to be signed or an agreement to be made. Whatever is holding things up, the restrictions may be feeling quite oppressive at this time. Um, if this isn't technically the case, it's asking you to look at your life to see how you are being your own jailer, basically. Are you tying yourself up in emotional angst in a negative habit? Something of that nature. And so you're being asked to really look at that. Hmm. Okay. Mhm. What else is going on? Doing a different deck? Maybe not. Okay. So we've got the sixth chakra, and Archangel Metatron is on this card. The sixth chakra is the third eye. It sits at brow, it's the brow basically. It's in between your eyebrows on your forehead. The color is like an indigo blue. Um, and this is where we perceive extrasensory information from. It's also, I've heard it called the seat of the intuition. I think that can feel be kind of confusing because a lot of us, our intuition is felt in the lower chakras, but it's you perceive the information through your third eye. So you could be having third eye experiences right now. You could be having activations right now, upgrades, something of that nature. For some of you, there could be something that is blocking this from fully being clear. Um, So when we're attached to different limiting beliefs or we're still kind of in denial or in doubt about our gifts and abilities, um, that can kind of muddle the frequency, so to speak. That can kind of interfere with the information trying to come through. Um, I don't feel like I feel like you've actually come a long way on this though. The energy that I'm picking up right now, I feel like you're actually getting pretty clear insight, um, for the most part. So, hmm, maybe you're still doubting what's coming through. That could be what's going on. Which, it's normal. Like, it is what it is. Like, that's a pretty normal part of the process. I still do it sometimes now. It's one of those I'll have wild experiences and then I'm like, is this really real? Is this really happening? Or is this the final straw where I completely lose touch with reality? So it's normal. Um, I would say to just journal about it and ask for continued clarity and confirmation, and then release an attachment to it and allow that clarity and the confirmations to come in because it will continuously come in as clarity and insight, especially at first when you're still kind of building that trust with it. So it's just one of those like, okay, I hear you, and can you give me another little sign that this is really happening. Yeah. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. I mean, and then we've got yin yang. So as much as I was dancing around the twin flamed counterpart message, it's we literally have both twin flame cards right here. This is also talking about balancing the internal divine feminine and divine masculine within. But because of the other cards, like this is for sure a twin flame kind of situation. So maybe this is just confirmation for you. Maybe this is just confirmation that yes, this path that you are choosing is in your highest good. This is the path that is leading to this door of value, which is leading you away from being all tied up and these hostilities, because the way that these two came out was over on the side here. And so I feel like I just heard soon to be things of the past, and I just spit all over the cards when I was talking. That's fun. Um, okay. Okay. Hmm. What's the message? So we've got indecision in action. Mm-mm. Um, okay. What I'm picking up is you may be fully stuff like this. When you start getting the insight of something of this magnitude, it comes in waves. The clarity comes in waves, and the insight comes in waves. And it's normal for it to, you'll get a little sprinkle of insight, and then the human ego self comes up and is like, nah, nah, thanks though, but I'm good on that. And then your higher self or spirit or however you work with the divine forces come in and go, but here's some more clarity. And you're like, but no, nice try. Moving right along. I'm good on all that. And then spirit's like, but here's some more. And so it's one of these like it just keeps coming until the human ego self is like, okay, and then what? Like, now what do I do with this information? Well, I feel like what's happened is you have committed to this path of growth, of coming back to yourself, of finding your way home and realizing home isn't a place, it's a state of being. And understanding that if being on the twin flame journey, uh, especially if you're the masculine, the feminine is holding. Mm, I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it, but I've heard it put where the feminine holds the flame, and then the masculine can follow that flame back to home, which ultimately is back home to the self first, and then you can, come into union basically if you both so choose, and it's all good in the neighborhood. Um, and then from that point, I feel like you've gotten the clarity. Maybe you're still kind of on that like back and forth where you're like, yes, I'm pretty sure this is what's happening. It's pretty hard to deny the signs and the synchronicities and the dreams and the random crazy experiences that would be hella coincidences. And then you're coming to the place where you're like, okay, but now what do I do with it? And that's where this indecisive energy is coming from. Is it's like, okay, so do I act? Do I do something about it? Do I not? Do I sit and wait? Like, what, now that I know this, what am I being called to do about it? Um, and with that, I mean, we've got the action card. And so and the way it kind of came out was to the right over here. And so what I feel like you're being called to do is to do something about it, is to take action in some sort. Um, let me let me tap in just a little bit. Give me just a minute. Okay. So I was getting a little ungrounded, which sometimes happens when I'm in a channeled state. So I was trying to bring it down and be like, what's the ultimate message here, spirit? When I paused it, the timer was at 33:22. And then when I went to restart it, the time is 2:33. So with that, you could be getting twos and threes as synchronicities right now. So that's extra confirmation. What I heard when I was tapping in and I was like, okay, what is the message? Like, I feel like a lot of this other stuff was confirmation and just a little bit of extra like clarity. Um, but it's one of those like, what's the message from here? And what I heard was it was like a mix of green light and all systems go, um, something of that nature. So what I feel like is really coming through is to like now's the time to do the thing. So whatever that is for you. It's not really specific. I'm not getting a specific thing. It's just the message coming through is like this is major confirmation. You've committed to the path. There are beautiful things waiting for you the more you walk this path. This was the choice for your highest good. and really getting into alignment with yourself. That is, it's beautiful. It's really a great thing. And I just heard a brave thing. It is to walk around in your authenticity with an open heart space in a world where there is a lot of this hostility energy still very prevalent. It is a brave thing to do. um and so it's one of those, like, I feel like spirit's coming through to be like, yes, good job. You made an awesome choice for yourself. You chose the brave, freaking hard path. You got this. You were literally coded at the soul DNA level to handle this. You got this. This is it. You're doing it. And now it's time to really make this decision and take action. Um, and I'm seeing a rainbow bridge. So take that if it resonates. I feel like that might be extra confirmation for somebody. Um, but I just saw that. So, yeah. So I feel like ultimately this is, to let you know that it's time for whatever this is for you. I'm not being given specifics, and it's for a reason. It's because it's going to be different for every one of you. And this is one of those, like, you get to listen to your intuition, you get to follow your guidance, and this is just a little extra for you, a little extra, external confirmation for you to really take this action forward. Um which is beautiful. And I feel like there's a lot of anxiety and resistance around taking this action, but I'm feeling that the moment you actually take this action, that weight is just going to be lifted. Um, so just know that. I feel like everything's in alignment for you, and it's beautiful. It really is. This is a really beautiful energy. So I do have to say that. So, congratulations to you for getting to this point on the journey, because it takes some stuff to get to this point. And if you chose to come in with the twin flame thing going on, that's not a path for everyone. It's a it's a doozy. So, I just want to say you got this. Keep on. It's gonna be good. I'm feeling in the energy, and I don't guarantee future outcomes ever because the future's not fixed. We're free will beings, we're in a free will universe. There's infinite options available to us in any given moment. And so I never guarantee the future. What I can say about what I'm picking up on this energy is that if you do choose to pull out of this this indecision energy and really get decisive and take the action that is aligned with your soul at the moment, with your higher self, with your inner self, however you term it, when you take that action, on the other side of it, it's just like, it just almost instantly feels like a vibrational shift in your energy that could occur, like, pretty instantaneously. Instantaneously? Yeah, there you go. Um, Words sometimes. All right. Well, with that, I don't feel like there's anything else that wants to come through. I feel like we really kind of, pulled through the message. So I'm going to leave this here. If this resonates, definitely let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. I'm giving you so much love and support on this journey. It's, you picked a fun one to walk. So you got this. And just know that it's for a reason, and the clarity will continue to come the more you walk the path and stay in alignment. The clarity just naturally comes. So, alrighty. Well, with that, if you like this message, feel free to hit that like button. It does help out the channel. So, thank you. And if you would like to see more from me, you can hit subscribe. It is free, and I will see you on the next message. Bye.